Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 6 Part 10 based on novel. So let's start. A low and primordial roar rang out from the bloody light that covered the sky as the titanic silhouette started to move. As the bloody light faded, an enormous figure appeared before everyone's eyes. Hiss! When the enormous figure within the bloody light was reflected in everyone's eyes, a series of gasps echoed across the area. That figure was 100 feet large blood-colored giant crocodile. Its entire body was covered with a bloody light. A thick layer of blood armor was covering its gigantic body. Its uneven surface contained some thorns that were extended outwards. At a first glance, it was as though the thick armor was a weapon used for massacre. There was deep dark black-colored horn on the head of the large blood-colored crocodile, and an unusual bloodlight was vaguely flowing over it. It was as though there was a frighteningly sharpness that could penetrate through the world suddenly spreading from it. This ancient giant crocodile that seemed to have emerged from the prehistoric era appeared within the bloodlight. It overlooked everyone on the field from its high position. Its large bloody eyes were emitting a ferocious glint. This was the soul of the ancient heavenly crocodile. By borrowing the strength from two ancient bloodlines, Lindong had finally summoned it from within the heavenly crocodile bone spear. What? What is this thing? The bodies of Tianjin and the three others had basically froze as they were completely stunned out of their minds. Their eyes contained an incomparable amount of shock as they witnessed this scene. The enormous being from within the bloodlight had directly caused the blood within their blood vessels to show signs of solidifying. A paleness had surged onto the expressions of the four of them at this moment. They could sense an extremely dangerous ripple from within that enormous blood figure. That ripple was far stronger than them. How is this possible? Lin Langtian inhaled a deep breath of air. He tried his best to suppress his crazy beating heart. Meanwhile, his face was incomparably gloomy. Lindong's move had essentially destroyed all of his plans. Although he had yet to exchange blows with this enormous being, it was possible to tell from the ripples that were emitted that the four of them would have difficulty defeating it even if they joined forces. Originally, he thought that he could use the ancient secret key as a reason to borrow the strength the others. With the strength of the four of them, it was sufficient to completely finish off Lindong in this ancient treasure trove. However, this unexpected change had undoubtedly completely wrecked his plans. Gulp! Standing beside him, Tianjin, Mo Shou and Jiang Shan also swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They stared at the enormous being within the bloodlight and immediately felt their scalps turn numb. Only at this moment did they completely understand why Lindong did not reveal the slightest fear, even when facing against their combined attacks. This fellow actually had such a frightening trump card. Is that the ancient heavenly crocodile? Liu Bai and Yang Sen's eyes had similarly gathered onto that enormous figure. However, it appears that the both of them possessed quite a good eyesight. They finally muttered those words after staring at that figure for a moment. How is it possible that this Lindong has summoned an ancient heavenly crocodile? It is rumored that such a fierce demonic beast could be considered as a powerful existence even in the ancient times. An expert behind Liu Bai uttered with a tone that contained some shock. It is not a genuine ancient heavenly crocodile. Rather, it is a remnant ancient heavenly crocodile's soul. Liu Bai shook his head and replied, if it was a real heavenly crocodile, there would no longer be a need for him to participate in the 100 Empire War. Once he summons this creature, no one would dare to fight with him. Even those abnormal beings from the super empires would likely change their expressions once this monster appears. However, even if it was only the soul of the heavenly crocodile, it is also quite powerful. I wonder just where did this fellow obtain it from? Mu Hongling curled her red lips. Although she did not appear to lose herself like the others on the surface, the rise and fall of her voluminous chests allowed others to understand the shock in her heart. Ha, I have already said that Lindong is not a simple person. Tianjin and the others think that they can defeat him with numbers. However, they did not expect that this metal plate is much harder than they imagined. At the end, they could only hurt their own legs. Liu Bai laughed. Mu Hongling nodded slightly. Her peach blossom-like eyes watched the man in the field holding a blood-colored long spear. This fellow might only be from a low-rank empire, but the things that he did were those that even these experts from the high-rank empire were unable to do. Once you have recovered from your shock, you can come and try this thing. Lin Dong gently twisted his hand in the face of the entire place, inhaling a cold breath of air. His eyes teasingly watched the pale white expression of Lin Langtian's group. A thought passed through his heart without him wasting any breath. The heavenly crocodile soul within the bloodlight extended a claw that was filled with blood-colored scales and ruthlessly struck it towards Qianzhen's group. Swoosh! The blood-colored claw transformed into a bloody ray of light. It appeared to have torn apart the sky. A blood-colored scar would be formed in the air along the path which it tore through. The swiftness of the heavenly crocodile's soul was unimaginable. Even someone as strong as Qianzhen could only see a ray of light flashing past their eyes. Immediately, a dangerous feeling was suddenly extended as all the pores on his body stood up. Bang! Surging yuan power rushed out from the bodies of all four of them without additional thoughts. They did not dare to underestimate the situation in the face of such a rich sense of danger. Bright golden light surged out from within the bodies of the four individuals when the yuan power splurted out. Qianzhen, Mu Shou, and Jian Shan directly activated their strongest golden body barrier. This solid light golden body barrier covered the three of them. Golden glow overflowed from it, giving it an extremely tough appearance. Lin Langtian was a 1 yuan nirvana stage expert, and he was still unable to reach the level of gathering the energy from the nirvana golden body on the surface of his skin and forming a golden barrier. However, he had also maneuvered his yuan power to its limit. His entire body was bright gold in color, appearing extremely dazzling. While the four of them were wildly maneuvering their strength, the claw from the heavenly crocodile's soul suddenly smashed downwards. After which, it mercilessly smashed onto the bright golden glow in front of the eyes of many. Clang! A clear bell-like noise resounded over the field. Soon after, countless incomparably fierce explosion occurred. Golden glow shot in all directions. That seemingly powerful golden body barrier had only lasted for a couple of breaths in the face of the smashing blood-colored claw from the heavenly crocodile's soul. After which, it blasted apart without any obstruction in front of the many stunned gazes and the frightened eyes of Qianzhen's group. Boom boom. Golden light shot all over the place and the four figures miserable flew outwards. Their bodies directly rubbed over the field, forming four glaring scars over it. Finally, they managed to stabilize their bodies forcefully after it reached the area near the edge of the field. Grug. However, the force within their bodies erupted just when all of them stabilized themselves. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out. Their originally pale face had become even paler. The eyes of everyone on the field observed Qianzhen's group miserably spitting blood. All of them involuntarily became silent. Some of their faces even twitched. Although they had already guessed this ending when the soul of the heavenly crocodile had appeared, they realized that they were unable to remain as calm as they had imagined when such an occurrence really appeared in front of them. That was three top experts who had the qualification to attempt the third nirvana tribulation. If people like Qianzhen were given sufficient time, it was likely that they could even advance into that nirvana ranking and become an expert whom others looked up to. However, they were actually forced by Lin Dong into such a miserable state despite having joined forces. The eyes of Qianzhen's group were filled with shock as they landed on the ground. They raised their heads and looked at Lin Dong a short distance away. A faint horror was flashing in their eyes. I will not kill all of you. You can get lost by yourself. Lin Dong's eyes were bone-chillingly cold as they swept over Qianzhen and the two others. His tone was indifferent. Lin Dong, I am acquainted with the people from the Great Gan Empire. I don't believe that you dare to touch me. Green and white color interlaced over Qianzhen's face as he cried out with fury. Great Gan Empire? That is a super empire. This Qianzhen is actually related to them. Qianzhen's voice had just sounded out when some exclamation sounded from the surrounding crowd. I do not wish to repeat myself again. Lin Dong's eyes became chilly. A thought passed through his heart and the heavenly crocodile's soul once again extended its blood-colored claw. In an instant, a dense killing intent spread from it. You? Tianjin's expression finally began to change as he sensed the killing intent that came spreading from within Lin Dong's body. He knew that if he continued to contradict Lin Dong, it was likely that the latter would really mercilessly give him a killing blow. Lin Dong, nothing in this world remains constant. Today, I shall admit my loss here. I will seek recompense for this grudge in the future. Compared to Tianjin, Mu Shou and Jiang Shan were extremely straightforward and tactful. The situation in front of them had already changed. If they were to continue remaining in this place, it was likely that they would not be able to defeat the ancient heavenly crocodile that Lin Dong had summoned even if they were to join forces. In that case, it was best for them to directly leave. Hence, the two of them got up, threw these words to Lin Dong before turning around and jolting out of the field. Consider yourself vicious. You should just wait. Tianjin's expression was a little green after seeing Mo Shou and Jiang Shan leaving. The glint in his eyes changed for a moment before he finally clenched his teeth unwillingly and charged out from the field. Everyone looked at this scene where Lin Dong's words had chased away the three great overlords. All of them were quietly speechless. This Lin Dong was indeed not a person that one should easily offend. Humph, Lin Dong, remember, it is not over between us. At this moment, Lin Langqian also stood up with an ugly expression. Tianjin and the two others were forced to leave. There was little that he could accomplish alone. It seemed that he could only withdraw first. However, just when he was preparing to withdraw, an icy cold smile was slowly lifted on Lin Dong's face. He raised his head and observed Lin Langqian. His soft voice contained a dense killing intent as it quietly spread over this field. They can leave but you cannot. They can leave but you can't. As Lin Dong's voice resounded through the wide field, Lin Langqian's retreating figure froze abruptly. Soon after, a sinister look rushed onto his handsome face. Compared to the Tianjin trio, Lin Langqian was still the biggest sore in Lin Dong's eyes. The latter had an extreme understanding of this comrade that came here alongside with him from the great Yang Empire. This fellow still possessed the mysterious Yuan spirit in his body. If he continued to ignore him, he would certainly achieve great accomplishments. Furthermore, the grudges between them were equivalent to fire and ice. As long as Lin Langqian had the opportunity, he would seize it and hit Lin Dong while he was down without any hesitation, like what had happened earlier today. Therefore, this enemy must be eliminated as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be much more difficult to deal with him in the future. Even though Lin Dong understood that the Tianjin trio was equally troublesome, he knew it would still be difficult to kill the four of them simultaneously even if he possessed the soul of the ancient heavenly crocodile. Furthermore, Lin Langqian still had the help of the mysterious Yuan spirit in his body, hence, Lin Dong had to leave the Linjin trio to make sure that he could get rid of this problem. At this moment, on the large field, Liu Bai and Yang Sen were flabbergasted at this scene. It appeared that Lin Dong and Lin Langqian had deep grudges between them. Otherwise, Lin Dong would not have held on to his killer intent towards Lin Langqian even after he let the Tianjin trio off. Lin Dong, do you really think that you can make me stay just because you have this thing? Under numerous surprised gazes, Lin Langqian sneered and his eyes contained a tinge of ghastliness. Lin Dong dropped his gaze slightly. Without saying anything and with a jolt of his mind, the soul of ancient heavenly crocodile, which was entrenched in the corpse, gave out a heaven-shattering roar. Its blood-colored claws started to tear through space again and blasted towards Lin Langqian with a terrifyingly violent force. Hand of the Universal Emperor. Upon seeing the soul of the ancient heavenly crocodile struck again, Lin Langqian's gloomy face paled. However, without the slightest amount of hesitation, the Yuan power in his body began to coagulate rapidly and materialized into a huge Yang power palm. Bang! The huge Yuan power palm landed forcefully against the ancient heavenly crocodile's claw, but it soon ruptured after withstanding the claw momentarily. The violent shockwave knocked Lin Langqian a few hundred meters back, causing the blood and qi in his body to boil violently. Master Mu, give me a helping hand and I will rip his body apart into 10,000 pieces today. Lin Langqian bellowed in his head as blood gushed through his body and fury filled his heart. You are not his match, escape before it's too late. If you want to take revenge, we will talk about it again in the future. An indifferent voice rapidly rang across Lin Langtian's mind. This voice belonged to the mysterious entity that Lin Langtian called Master Mu. I have already made an escape last time around, how can I escape again? Upon hearing what was said, Lin Langtian snarled in his heart. He was an individual that was full of pride and arrogance. However, for the past few years, Lin Dong had been surpassing him time and time again, and eventually, he was been forced to escape like a stray dog. The last escape he made was enough to make him feel extremely humiliated. This time around, with a substantial increase in his powers, how could he escape like a stray dog again? This Lin Dong is not as simple as you think. Even if I help you, we cannot kill him. If you insist on taking the offensive, I'm afraid you won't be able to handle the consequences, the mysterious Yuan spirit reprimanded apathetically with regards to Lin Langtian's snarling complaints. Creak! Lin Langtian's eyes slightly reddened and his fists were so tightly clenched that they gave off creaking sound. After a moment, he finally nodded his head reluctantly. However, in his mind, the level of viciousness he had towards Lin Dong had reached an indescribable degree. Upon seeing Lin Langtian restrain the fury in his heart, the mysterious Yuan spirit nodded its head. Then, it continued, I will ensure that you escape. Even though Lin Dong is troublesome, he can't stop me from securing your escape. Boom! As the Yuan spirit finished its sentence, Lin Langtian's body suddenly jerked violently. A weird grayish glow swept across his eyes. All of a sudden, a powerful aura erupted from his body. As the aura expanded, Lin Langtian punched his fist out. Frantic and immense power gathered around his fist and collided brutally against the ancient heavenly crocodile's claw. Bang! Visible air ripples swept through the air. However, this time around, Lin Langtian was not severely injured as expected. His body staggered backward and took on the ancient heavenly crocodile's claw by force. Immediately, this scene created an uproar among the onlookers in the field. A surprised look even swept across Liu Bai and Yen Sen's eyes. The strength of the ancient heavenly crocodile was comparable to a 3-yuan nirvana stage practitioner. Even if they combined forces, it would take all of their efforts to be able to withstand it. It was not expected that an 1-yuan nirvana stage practitioner like Lin Langtian could withstand such attack. It's rumored that Lin Langtian and Lin Dong are both from the Great Yang Empire, and the relationship between both of them is like fire and water, Mu Hongling said softly as he gazed at the two persons in the sky with great attention. Oh! This Great Yang Empire seems to be a place that is filled with luck and treasures. It's really surprising to see two extraordinary individuals like them to appear in such a low-ranked empire. Liu Bai was startled. Apparently, he was rather startled at this fact. Mu Honglin nodded his head slightly. Given Lin Langtian's sudden outburst of such terrifying power, even if he was to be compared with some high-ranked empires, he would still be considered formidable, let alone an even more outstanding individual like Lin Dong. Finally taking the offensive, Just as the onlookers filled sight was astonished at Lin Langtian's sudden outburst of aura, Lin Dong's gaze suddenly froze. Other people might not know what was going on with Lin Langtian, but he clearly understood that the mysterious Yuan spirit was responsible for this. Boundless Yuan power, like gushing floodwater, were engulfing Lin Langtian's body. The grayish glow that was coagulating in his eyes made him come off as extremely cold and weird. Lin Dong, I want to see how are you going to kill me? Lin Langtian sneered as he curled the corner of his mouth and stared at Lin Dong sinisterly. With the assistance of the mysterious Yuan spirit in his body, he had reached a level that was comparable to a 3-yuan nirvana stage practitioner for the time being. With regards to such level of power, even if Lin Dong possessed the soul of ancient heavenly crocodile, he absolutely could not kill Lin Langtian. Lin Dong squinted his eyes. He had no choice but to admit that Lin Langtian's powers did increase a lot with the help from the mysterious Yuan spirit. Lin Dong, do you need my help? Little Martin's voice suddenly rang across Lin Dong's mind as he squinted both his eyes. No need, I can handle this. Lin Dong shook his head slightly and rejected Little Martin's offer. Right now, Little Martin just obtained the Samsara pill and it was best not to reveal it now. After all, once Little Martin recovered its physical body, its powers would advance by leaps and bounds. It would be a world of difference for its power between then and now. Therefore, because of the importance of this matter, Lin Dong did not want anything to happen to little Martin now. No matter what help you have borrowed, I want your life today. With an indifferent expression, Lin Dong reached out his palm abruptly. Immediately, the ancient heavenly crocodile soul that was in the mid-air roared towards the sky. Powerful, sharp, and piercing claw wind swept down from the sky and blasted towards Lin Langtian. Bang bang bang. Facing the relentless and brutal attacks from the ancient heavenly crocodile soul, Lin Langtian quickly activated his Yuan power, and with the help from the mysterious Yuan spirit in his body, he was actually able to withstand the savage attacks. The surrounding onlookers were shocked upon seeing Lin Langtian, who seemed to receive some kinds of God-given help. Previously, Lin Langtian could not even withstand one swipe from the ancient heavenly crocodile's claws, yet now he could go head-to-head with the incoming attacks. This turn of events seemed to be too abrupt. Ha ha, I have already said that you can't kill me. However, Lin Dong, don't be too pleased with yourself. This time around, count yourself lucky. The next time we meet, I will not give you any opportunity to make a comeback. After exchange one more round of blows with the ancient heavenly crocodile soul, Lin Langtian cackled towards the sky and started to retreat it quickly. This time around, I will not give you the chance to make a comeback. Lin Dong's eyes were piercing cold. With a jolt of his body, he flew violently towards Lin Langtian. You are courting death. When he saw that Lin Dong actually dared to take the initiative and rushed towards him, a glint of sinister look flashed across Lin Langtian's eyes. Right now, with the help of his mysterious Yuan spirit, Lin Langtian's powers had already reached the level that was equivalent to a 3 Yuan Nirvana stage practitioner. If they were to fight head-to-head, Lin Dong would not be his match. Faster escape now, this lad is not as simple as you think. However, the mysterious Yuan spirit's voice rang across Lin Langtian's mind just as his eyes were twinkling with killing intent. Master Mu, you have overestimated this lad. Given my current situation, how can he handle me? Furthermore, if I kill him now, the ancient heavenly crocodile soul will be destroyed. When that moment comes, we may even have the chance of obtaining the 4 great mysterious sects' inheritances. Lin Langtian replied eerily as his eyes twinkled. How can I give up such a rare opportunity? Upon hearing Lin Langtian's words, the mysterious Yuan spirit seemed to be stunned momentarily. There appeared to be some hesitation. If Lin Dong was just controlling the ancient heavenly crocodile soul by one side, there was nothing much they could do about the situation. However, if he was rushing them head-on like this, it was still undecided who might emerge as the victor. Swoosh! Its hesitation lasted only for a short while because Lin Dong was already right in front of Lin Langtian. Upon seeing this, a ghastly look flashed across the latter's face. With the Yuan power surging frantically in his body, he punched his fist out ruthlessly. Since you wish to die, I shall grant your wish. Frantic and matchless Yuan power swept out from Lin Langtian's fist like a hurricane. Such power sufficed to make a 2 Yuan Nirvana stage practitioner overwhelmed with shock. However, in the face of such powerful attack, the incoming Lin Dong did not show any fear in his eyes as what Lin Langtian expected him to be. Instead, there was an ice-cold, smirking look in the former's eyes. TCCH. Just as Lin Langtian was feeling uneasy about the smirking look in Lin Dong's eyes, he suddenly saw a black-colored, weird flame spiraled out from Lin Dong's palm. At the moment when Lin Langtian saw the black-colored flame, his limbs went ice-cold instantly. Nirvana Demon Flame. Numerous voiced with incomparable shock were being emitted at almost the same time. Regardless of whether it was Liu Bai, Yang Sen or that Lin Langtian, all of their faces were covered by a shock that was difficult to contain when that black-colored flame appeared. Those who had reached their level was clearly aware about this kind of flame. This was a frightening object that would only appear from the 3rd Nirvana tribulation onwards. Most of those experts who were qualified to attempt the 3rd Nirvana tribulation had been killed by this strange yet powerful Nirvana demon flame. Hence, many Nirvana stage experts felt a horror towards this thing in their hearts. It was also due to this that the shock, which they displayed when they saw this frightening thing actually rising from Lin Dong's hands, was incomparable. This fellow. Even someone as calm as Liu Bai currently felt his head become a little numb. His heart did not even feel this shaken when Lin Dong had summoned the soul of the heavenly crocodile earlier. The smile on the enchanting face of Mu Hongling by the side had also completely been withdrawn. Her eyes were pitilessly grave. Even she felt some disbelief that the object, which was viewed as the most frightening thing by those with the qualification to attempt the third nirvana tribulation, would actually appear in Lin Dong's hands at this moment. The entire area was completely silent. Some of those experts who knew their stuff stared at the black-colored flame in Lin Dong's hand with a stunned expression. In the next instant, they recovered and began to flee like rabbits. That manner of theirs was as though they were afraid that the black-colored flame in Lin Dong's hands would come and pester them. The entire ancient square was filled with panic due to the appearance of the Nirvana demon flame. At the same time, that Lin Langtian also finally became clear-headed. His eyes quickly shrunk as he stared at Lin Dong, who was holding the Nirvana demon flame in his hand. His dense face had become much paler. Lin Langtian, withdraw quickly. The current you will definitely not be able to block this Nirvana demon flame. That mysterious Yuan spirit in Lin Langtian's heart vaguely contained some shock as it suddenly sounded. That voice actually had a rare panic. It seemed that a Yuan spirit existence like him was extremely afraid of this kind of Nirvana demon flame. Once this flame eroded and invaded Lin Langtian, it was likely that this Yuan spirit might be completely incinerated into nothing. Kai? At this moment, Lin Langtian had clearly lost his will to fight. He did not even possess the confidence to fight forcefully in the face of the wreathing black-colored flame. He was also clearly aware about just how frightening the Nirvana demon flame was. Although he possessed a strength that was similar to that of a 3-Yuan Nirvana stage expert with the aid of the Yuan spirit, he understood that his strength was unable to withstand that terrifying force of the Nirvana demon flame. Hence, the words from the Yuan spirit within Lin Langtian had just sounded when his body swiftly shot out with lightning-like speed. From the looks of it, it was obvious that he was planning to temporarily seek shelter. It is likely a little late to leave now. Since Lin Dong had even displayed a trump card like the Nirvana demon flame, he naturally did not intend to return empty-handed. Hence, he merely gave a cold laughter in the face of Lin Langtian, who was withdrawing in a miserable manner. A thought passed through his mind and the heavenly crocodile soul suspended in the sky suddenly lowered its enormous head. A blood glow gathered over its completely dark black horn. Finally, it emitted a swoosh sound and directly tore through the air. It carried a wave of incomparable sharpness, appearing just like an arrow that shot through the sky and jolted towards the swiftly withdrawing Lin Langtian. The blood-colored ray of light was extremely fast. Even the current Lin Langtian could only see the blood light flash past his eyes. Immediately, a sense of danger surged up his heart. He did not dare to slight it and he summoned majestic Yuan power like floodwater. After which, an enormous Yuan power shield was formed in front of him. The light ray shot past. A few breaths later, it ruthlessly smashed onto the enormous Yuan power shield like a meteorite that rushed through the sky. Bang! Wild and violent ripples surged past like floodwater and spread apart continuously. That spectacular momentum caused many to quietly click their tongue. Crack! That Yuan power shield's strength was clearly quite great and it was able to endure such a sharp attack by the soul of the heavenly crocodile on the opposite side. However, this kind of endurance did not last for long before many tiny crack lines began to appear on its surface. The crack lines increased. However, the blood-colored ray of light was also paling swiftly at a rate visible to the naked eye. Clearly, the energy with it had already been neutralized. Boom! The mutual counteraction lasted for over 10 seconds. Finally, the both of them exploded and scattered like smoke. Swoosh! Lin Langtian's body immediately rushed backwards the moment that large Yuan power shield exploded. However, even though his reaction was quite fast, a lightning-speed ghost-like figure quickly followed like the maggots in one's bones. A leaping black-colored flame was on the palm of that figure, which looked just like a death god, was emitting a dense deathly aura. Kai? That ghost-like figure was naturally Lin Dong, who was waiting for an opportunity by the die. With the help of the temporary delay by the heavenly crocodile's soul, Lin Dong had clearly found the best opportunity to attack at this moment. He quickly pressed his finger forward and a black-colored flame lingered over his finger, appearing just like a flame dagger that was revealing a chilly air. The flame wreathed. Finally, it dashed towards Lin Langqian's forehead. That speed was such that Lin Langqian could not dodge despite being able to clearly see it. This unexpected change caused a horror to flash across Lin Langqian's eyes. However, he immediately gritted his teeth. Wild and violent yuan power covered his fist as he threw it angrily at Lin Dong's chest. That manner appeared to be with the intention of forcing Lin Dong to pull back and defend. The fist that contained a wild and violent yuan power was swiftly magnified in Lin Dong's eyes. However, Lin Dong did not show any signs of pulling back to defend. This was something beyond Lin Langqian. Instead, a thought passed through Lin Dong's mind and a golden glow surged under his skin. Clang! Lin Langqian's fist directly and ruthlessly landed on Lin Dong's chest. A faint clear metallic sound appeared. Lin Dong's body also trembled intensely as a result. A flush redness rose onto his face. Although Lin Langqian's punch had landed on Lin Dong's body, he did not reveal even the slightest joy. The horror in his eyes had instead become even denser. This was because he saw the corner of Lin Dong's mouth slowly being lifted into a dense arc. This fellow had actually went on out and forcefully endured a punch from Lin Langqian just so that he could unleash this killing blow. You should not use the branch family in Yang City to threaten me. A soft yet densely cold voice slowly seeped out from Lin Dong's mouth as he looked at Lin Langqian's horrid face in close proximity. Lin Dong was not afraid of any tactic Lin Langqian would use to deal with him. However, he was extremely concerned about what Lin Langqian would do to his father and relatives. That threat from Lin Langqian earlier had really touched a spot in Lin Dong's heart that really should not be touched. Lin Dong, if you kill me, the clan head and the others will not let your Yang City branch family off. A deathly aura covered Lin Langqian's heart. At this moment, he let out a shocked voice. This voice had become much sharper because of fear. You will be useless once you are dead. No one will do anything to me because of you. Lin Dong's expression was indifferent. He ignored this kind of low-level threat from Lin Langqian. As long as he was able to stand out in this ancient battlefield and join a super sect, that so-called Lin clan would forever treat the Yang City's branch family as VIPs. They would definitely not dare to slight the latter even a little. It's over. The figure, where the black-colored flame was burning, finally reached Lin Langqian's forehead like a dagger. After which, Lin Dong's eyes coldly glanced at Lin Langqian, whose eyes were filled with horror. He did not hesitate as he pressed his finger forward. Sizzle. The black-colored flame landed heavily onto Lin Langqian's forehead. At the same time, all of the latter's yuan power erupted. An incomparably sharp miserable screech was unleashed from his mouth like a roaring wounded wild beast. In the face of this kind of intense pain, Lin Langqian's original one gray and one black eyes suddenly transformed into a deep grayish color. Within a short instant, he appeared as though he had turned into another person. Lin Dong's eyes shrunk slightly upon seeing this scene. He was aware that at this moment, Lin Langqian's consciousness had actually been replaced by that mysterious yuan spirit within his body. Bang! Sharp wind ruthlessly smashed onto Lin Dong's hands. After which, Lin Langqian's body withdrew quickly. A trace of blood flowed down from his forehead, causing him to appear as ferocious as an evil ghost. Although his face was ferocious, a strange wild joy had actually surged up the pair of deep grayish eyes at this moment. Swish! Lin Langqian's backward withdrawing speed was extremely quick. Within 2 leaps, he had actually charged into the distorted space. After which, he swiftly disappeared from Lin Dong's sight. Lin Dong's eyes quietly watched the figure that had fled quickly. He knitted his brows slightly. When the Nirvana demon flame had made contact with Lin Langqian's head, Lin Dong could clearly sense that the flame's eroding properties had seriously corroded Lin Langqian's consciousness. This finger was sufficient to truly snatch away Lin Langqian's little life. The black-colored flame on Lin Dong's finger also quietly scattered. At the same time, the heavenly crocodile's soul in the sky also gradually paled. Lin Dong lowered his eyes slightly as he clenched his hand. Did that mysterious yuan spirit control his body and flee? This video will end here.